It is great to have you back here at CoinSuri's channel. Request from viewer is, who is your favorite CEO and who is the best coin for you? You can also comment your opinion. Thank you to all the subscribers of our CoinSuris. Who came to our channel CoinSuris? You will always be info with the latest CoinSuris news. Number 1, CEO Brad Garlinghouse XRP and Ripple. Number 2, CEO Grayscale SEC. Number 3, CEO JP Morgan Bitcoin. Number 4, CEO Brian Armstrong Coinbase. Please like my video and subscribe my channel. Anger is escalating as a result of the SEC's unreasonable requests and substantial additional filings. The latest twist in the ongoing Ripple litigation is that the company has publicly opposed the SEC's request for post-complaint discovery, which has sparked a reaction from the XRP community. James K. Philando tweeted not long ago. Ripple has reportedly reacted to the SEC's request to enforce compliance with the terms of the agreement, according to a seasoned federal prosecutor who keeps us informed about the case. The SEC appears to be attempting to have Ripple submit audited financial statements for 2022 and 2023 based on the submission. Make sure to generate all XRP sales or transfers to non-employee counterparties after the complaint and address any queries about the amount of XRP that may arise. Institutional sales proceeds earned subsequent to contract-specific lawsuit filing. It would be prudent to analyze Ripple's reaction to the SEC filing as an argument. Ripple claims the SEC is interfering with the court process by requesting unnecessary documents. Today, January 20, 2020, the day that Kahneman unleashed his rage, I offer my everlasting gratitude. As a first point of criticism, Ripple's requests are submitted during inconvenient times. According to Rolliver, the SEC had an ample amount of time during the fact discovery window to investigate much of the desired facts. But since they were lacking a valid reason, they decided against it. This very second. Riff Raff went on to say that the SEC is trying to get discovery records that have nothing to do with the rescue mission. Ripple claims that in a prior discovery dispute, the parties argued over whether or not discovery following a complaint was appropriate, but the attractive party failed to mention that discovery following a complaint was pertinent to remedies. Consequently, the SEC maintains that events subsequent to the filing of the case were irrelevant. Ripple issued a statement following the agreement. The motion was finally decided, and the SEC should not be permitted to reverse its effect. On November 14, the Securities and Exchange Commission published 3 requests for proposals and 9 questions regarding Rulison. Ripple asserts that these demands were sent to them on Thursday and calls them absurd. In December, the relevant firm, Ripple, raised numerous objections to these claims. One of these was that, with the exception of the limited discovery that the court had granted on November 13, all discovery had already been completed. Finally, the SEC reported that the number of nations and territories permitted by Rule 33 had been reached. Also, some of the questions about what happened after a complaint weren't really relevant. Also, Ripple claims that if the court rules that the sales that occurred after to the complaint were legal, it might lead to a long ancillary case. Many members of the XRP community have voiced their desire for a resolution to the Ripple SEC litigation by the year 2024 in reaction to Ripple's actions in response to the SEC's requests. Meanwhile, members of the XRP community have commented and praised Ripple. The SEC has the power to request financial information and XR plan metrics from Ripple, thus the company should give these to them. Legal proceedings between Ripple and the SEC are heating up. Borrell Financial Regard, meanwhile, is planning to grow into an AI-driven Web 3.0 marketplace. During Borrell Finance's pre-sale, over $2 million was collected. 3 investors are now investigating the project because of its potential to reduce the barrier to entry in the online market. The fact that Borrow Finance could move higher, that Shiva is inside you, and that CRO is approaching a crucial support level are all things that could pique your curiosity during the 4th pre-sale round. As a collateralized future income token, RO represents the Borrow Financial Ecosystem's governance token. Opportunities for investment funding will be generated utilizing non-fungible tokens, NFTs, which are directly accessible to members and Web3. This is an attempt by Burr Finance to alleviate the short-term liquidity challenges experienced by Web3 content suppliers as a result of factors such as uneven payments. American Securities and Exchange Commission sets new benchmarks. Additional investigation into the issue is currently being carried out by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Regardless of the court's decision on the status of XRP as a security, the most recent turn in the protracted legal dispute between Ripple and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is far from over. Border Finance has tremendous potential, which is attracting investors like BNB and Cardano. An outside entity has provided content to this work, as stated in the disclaimer. Here at Crypto News, you won't find any of the firm's recommended items if you're looking to do anything relating to them. Using the service requires each user to invest on their own. The notoriously critical John Denton has spoken out once again against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's stance on cryptocurrency. In a recent statement, XRP backer Denton accused the SEC of being dishonest rather than intelligent in its regulation of digital assets. This follows remarks made by Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Calderon, who denied the SEC's claimed wrongdoing. The SEC's comparison of investing in cryptocurrency to supporting an ecosystem of oranges was brought to light by God in reaction to the infamous analogy they used during the oral debate. This follows his seductive position on cryptocurrencies and the now famous analogy to oranges. The SEC's legal arguments are laughable, God continued. Bitcoin purchases follow the same logic, which is something we are fully aware of. If you're curious what the SEC attorney's thoughts on Bitcoin and why it's not a security, I defy you to guess. There is no central authority controlling Bitcoin. Instead of being ignorant, the SEC rule enforcers are best described by their lack of integrity. This is where the analogy arises. By purchasing cryptocurrencies, an investor effectively becomes a node in the wider network that the coin represents. Tokens issued by Bitcoin projects must be shown as being fundamental to the operation of the underlying company activity rather than only as a collecting. Denton used the chance to argue that crypto assets are worth more than just collecting dust by revealing what he considers to be the most attractive bias for Bitcoin. In pointing out that Bitcoin is not a security but three popular alternative cryptocurrencies, XRP, ADA, and SOL, are, he brought out the fact that the SEC has an inconsistent attitude on the classification of cryptocurrencies. The SEC cited the absence of a Bitcoin network as an example of why this difference is warranted. In response, the business said that the SEC's enforcement attorneys are not so naive. Their blatant disregard for established conventions is indicative of a lack of honesty and what appears to be an obvious disregard for the law. The fact that the SEC's stance on cryptocurrency has significantly diverged from the generally acknowledged legal principles was also stressed in each of these tweets. His comment conveyed his concerns on the possible detrimental effects of SEC regulations on the Bitcoin sector. He claimed that the SEC's approach to cryptocurrency regulation may be interesting if it weren't for the possible negative outcomes. The Securities and Exchange Commission's (SEC) ambiguous and conflicting stances on various digital assets are a key cause of friction in the Bitcoin industry. You shouldn't use the provided data to make trading recommendations. Investing in cryptocurrency based on the data presented here is risky business. The choices you make are not the responsibility of Politan.com. Prior to undertaking any financial obligations, we advise you to consult an expert and conduct your own investigation. Subscribing and like is always appreciated. Coming up shortly, farewell.